Okay, ready for the pop quiz? Here's the pop quiz. You guys are in trouble now. Are you ready? Okay. Some of you have been to our events before. Many of you, by the way, who in this room has not been to one of these events in this room before? Who has not been to one? Okay, I don't know what percentage of the room that is. Half-ish, a little more, something like that? Okay, so many of you that have been here before know our habit, right, of exchanging business cards. In fact, at the end of the first segment, I usually get people and I tell them during the break, okay, you have a homework assignment. You've got to exchange business cards with 10 different people. My question right now is, by a show of hands, who exchanged business cards with at least one person during the break? Oh, that's impressive. Okay. All right. People. I'm impressed. Holy moly. Shocking. You ready for your homework assignment during the next break? 10. Get 10. You will never build your business until you get in the habit of generating leads. And people in your industry teach you that the only way to generate new leads is to buy them or door knock or cold call or whatever your industry's in. Many of you are in different industries. I beg to differ. Those are good sources of leads. But the best source of leads is, as I like to say, are you ready? Get them. Just get them. Stop overthinking lead generation. A lead is a name, a phone, and an email. The end. That's a lead. Now, there's a private coaching client of mine who came to me about, 7, 8 months ago and said, Dave, you know what? I'm the house mom or the class mom for my daughter's class in school. And I said, I know. And she said, and I have like the roster of all of their contact information. And I said, I know. And she said, and I've never marketed to any of them before. And I said, I know. Should I start marketing to them? Oh. How do you get leads? If you're taking notes, please write this down. You get leads by getting them. Stop thinking and start building your database. The purpose of a database is to take cold leads and warm them up. Take warm leads and heat them up. I've already met, even today, I don't know, half a dozen people or so that literally have had conversations with me this morning about, oh, I've been following you on social media, finally got to get to one of your things. Facebook is a database. Put them in, share content, share personal stuff, share business stuff, and you take somebody who's cold and make them warm. That's a database. That's the purpose of a database. Does this make sense? It all starts with lead generation, but that's not the topic for today. The topic is, what is the one daily habit, the one best daily habit of a business owner as it relates to marketing? And it's not what you think. It is not the prospecting piece. The prospecting's crucial. It's measuring again. It's metrics and measuring. Measuring your marketing. You get what you measure. And the more frequently you measure it, the better it gets. Don't worry about this template here. Everybody has a different kind of business. I'm just going to show you an example. Is that fair? Today is April 12th. We have been through now 9 business days this month out of the 21 that happen to exist in this month. Why do I know these things? Because I like numbers. They're important. They tell you what to do. Warren Buffett says, measure results, comma, coach activities. And what he means by that is you use the numbers to tell you what to do with your time and money. Business is not a closed book exam. It's a final exam that's open book, but we don't look at the numbers. May I give you some examples here? So far since the 1st of April, we've sent out, if you can see that, if it's large enough for you, 1,200 email messages to market a database product, or managing a database product that many of you know, program. From those 1,200 messages, we had 3 positive responses come in. That's a 0.25% response rate. If I ask you all right now, how does that sound to you? I already know your answer. Wow, that's low. Because you don't know anything about marketing. Because all you learn are from the 3 coaches that have dominated the landscape in your industry for the last 35 years. Let's continue. Text messaging, For that particular product, we've sent out 900 texts so far this month and have had 17 positive responses. Doesn't mean they all start with us, right? That's a 1.89% response rate. And if I ask you, do you want a 2%-ish positive response rate to text messages? Most people say that's low because you don't know marketing. Same thing on Facebook. We've sent out individualized messages. 86, 2 positive responses, 2.3. You see that so far? I'll give you what these numbers mean in a sec. For one-on-one coaching, we sent out 600 email messages, 4 positive responses, 0.67 response rate. If you notice, the response rate was higher for one-on-one coaching versus database. I'll explain why in a minute. And no, it doesn't matter. We're not talking about my product. We're talking about your business. We'll get to that in a sec. We also have 600 text messages, 14 responses, 2.3%. Okay, I know you're not ready for all of this right now in your own individual business, but let me plant a picture of the vision of your marketing going forward. Does this make sense? First of all, who sends out these messages for us? Her name is Minu. She's an admin that I hired through a website some of you know I love called Upwork.com. Would you please do me the honor and respect of writing it down because you need this website? It's called Upwork, Upwork.com. My recommendation is whenever you do any kind of outsourcing like this, you only delegate tasks. You don't delegate necessarily customer service. You don't, that kind of stuff. Make sense? Maybe sales. Depends, unless they're professionals. Like Alan's group over there in the corner, which you'll hear from shortly, okay? So this is what you do. So Minu was living in Chennai, India. On Upwork, you can create a profile in under 2 or 3 minutes. It's that simple. And then you put your credit card in and it charges you nothing. Now, when you post a job, they give you the option of putting in there, I want to pay hourly rate or by project. Please listen to me carefully. You never pay hourly rates. I hate them because you get what you pay for. And I'm not interested in hours. I'm interested in results. I always pay by project, always. So 5 years ago, I post a job that I want someone's help taking my spreadsheets that many of you know I use all the time and adding months and months of rows and columns and formulas because I couldn't stand doing it. I thought I couldn't delegate it because I'm really pretty good at doing it. But it would take me 8 hours on a weekend when I want to spend time with my wife and my daughter, and I'm sitting there on spreadsheets, and it didn't put me in the best of moods, which, by the way, is proof that it has to be delegated. Please listen to me carefully. Every time you feel overwhelmed or frustrated, like, I spent all day long, what did I even get done? It is a clue you're doing things you're not supposed to do. This makes sense? And remember, do what you do best and outsource the rest is the ultimate goal line for your business. You will make more even though you have overhead. You will make more and enjoy it a lot more. The make more, work less formula of an entrepreneur really does work, but nobody teaches it in your industry. Well, fair enough? Let's continue. So Minu actually moves from Chennai. I hire her for this project. There were a bunch of people that applied for the job. I offered $50 for a one-time project to take 5 documents, expand them out. It usually would take me 5, 6, 7 hours. I offered $50 for it, not knowing, and I got like a dozen applicants. I have no idea why I picked her, although they do have reviews there, so you can see people's comments that have worked with her before, right? I hire her, and the next day I text her and say, hey, were you able to get my information about the project? She said, yes, didn't you see it? I said, what do you mean? It's already done, I sent it to you. What? And therein lies a rock star. Oh, by the way, when you're running a business, all you need to know is, did they get it done? Are they amazing? And you know in less than 7 days. Don't kid yourself. We're overthinking business. Minu was amazing. Today, she's on a $500 a month salary. I've had her on our payroll for 5 years, and we just throw stuff at her now. One of her jobs, and now she lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because her husband got a job here in America. He's a networker for a living. He's a techie also, and he's applying for citizenship. We've never met Minu in person. Roz and I have done a ton of Skype and Zoom calls with her, video calls with her. She's had 2 baby boys during the 5 years she's worked with us. We love her dearly. We've never met her. And she's an integral part of our team because what does she do? Send out the messages. So when she sends out the messages, and by the way, on Facebook, the way she does it is she'll take our message, our wording, and she'll literally copy it, change the first name, and physically paste it in individually because there's no way to do it in mass. And she does that for us. You can hire people all over the world to do it on Upwork. You're just not thinking about it. And no, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg because it doesn't matter what you put on there as a price for it. There are going to be people all over the world who will be thrilled and benefit from your money. And you think it's not possible. You think you need to hire a $5,000 full-time admin and you don't know where to get the rock stars. I'm telling you why you can't get the rock stars. They have jobs. That's why you don't know where they are. But you keep going. I know I always get myself in trouble with this one. Please don't put this one on social media. Don't take a photo of me while I'm saying this. Don't video me. I never said it. I'll deny it. What you do is when you want to get something going because you're fear-based out of money, you hire the nearest high school kid for $9 an hour and wonder why it didn't change your business or life. Because it's not going to. They don't have the, forgive me, don't shoot me. Forgive me, young people who are strong and actually, ambitious. But generally speaking, they don't have the gravitas of life, the seriousness of purpose. They can't connect with your clientele and represent you well. I'm sorry. But you think it's going to change your life. Stop wasting your time and energies. Fair enough? Minu's excellent. Minu sends out the messages, right? That's Minu's job. Someone tells Minu to send it out. Now, in the old days, it used to be Roz. Now it's becoming little by little Amani, who's another person part-time on our team, who's wonderful. Oh, by the way, Amani has a full-time job, working as the head of children's ministry in a church and takes care of 2 young kids and does all of this work for us on the side because some people are just good and they work, right? So her job is to track the inbound responses, count them for us so that we have metrics, if that makes sense, and then she also sends an immediate reply. Now, some of you have sent in replies and didn't get an immediate response. You know why? Because we're flooding the funnel and embracing the chaos, and we're trying to dig ourselves into excellence also. This is the way businesses work, but you don't wait until you're ready to get started. You get started, and it's not how it works, right? You don't have to get ready to get great. You don't have to get started to get, you have to get started to get great, is the point. So this is the exercise. So she's tracking the inbounds, and she immediately replies. You know what the reply is? Hi, Sue, when are you available to chat? Think about this carefully. We're not trying to sell and get into a conversation. We are booking an appointment. The only thing that moves your business are appointments. The only thing. If it's not April 12th, pretend it's December 12th now and we're meeting in this room, right? And 2019 was a success, a total success for you. You know why? I know one thing, I don't have to see anything. You went on far more appointments than last year, the end. Face-to-face appointments with potential new clients. Or depending upon the industry, maybe it's by phone or video, depending upon what you do, right? If your year was a failure and it's December 12th, you went on fewer appointments. There is no value in lead generation whatsoever in business. Leads are worthless, except for booking appointments. Stop selling to leads. You are not realtor, for example, getting somebody to sign a listing agreement on your first phone conversation. It's not happening. Make sense? The only purpose. So it doesn't have to be fancy. When are you available to chat? Now, Loan Depot is now a behemoth in the loan side of the world. They also, you can take paid entrepreneurial tours. In fact, where's Chris here? Chris Moreno, I know. Chris has been on, and Conrad, they've been on the entrepreneurial tour of their facility. One of the things they share on their tour is they try to touch new inbound leads, internet leads, 15 times in 24 hours. And you're afraid to reach out to someone in your database once a month. Interesting? Okay. So measuring these things give you percentages. Let me give you some power behind this. Here's the numbers you need to know. 2% response rate on text messages is your number. That's the target. That's the number in the marketing world. You may say it's low. I'm telling you it's great. 2% is your number. When you send 100 texts out and you get 2 decently strong yeses, you've got a solid message, a good message. If it's higher than that, you got a great message. If it's lower than that, don't worry, you don't need to hire a marketer. You don't even need to hire me for this one. Test a different message. That's it, the end. So 100 to get to 2, who then you try to book 2 appointments. That's the sales funnel. Facebook Messenger and Instagram direct messaging is also a 2% number. They are as effective as text messaging. All 3 of those are more effective than phone calls. Wow, the world is changing. Phone calls are still effective. They're still effective, okay? Emails, I guess this one just went. Here's the number that's going to freak you out about emails. Emails, the average number of a solid campaign, believe it or not, is 0.25%. It means for every 400 emails, if you get 1 solid yes, that's an industry standard. And you're going to say that sucks. You know what people tell me that I coach when I go through these numbers? They say, holy moly, I better increase my database. Sheesh. Yes, you're not close. You can't have 100 names in a phone and build a great business. You can't do it. Listen to me carefully. So let's fast forward here. This is how you measure the funnel. But notice we have a person, specialized till you're special. Niche rhymes with rich for a reason. You're going to do everything in the beginning of your business, and in the next 5 years, you're going to little by little peel things off. And ideally, down the long run, each individual person that helps you in your business is doing a specific function only, not this list of 30 tasks, which you can't even do 3, and you want somebody to do 30. Okay? Let me show you another one up here. Roz up here has this crazy number somewhere up here on the top, 21. You know what that is? She wants to do 150 appointments. Roz is now doing the, quote, taking the phone calls and doing the appointments. That's what she does now. I used to do it. She used to book them for me. Now I've, I don't know, retired, gotten old, tired, stale. I don't know what it is. She's doing them now. Roz is, FYI, in my business, this is important. I hope this comes out the right way. I hope this is meant to come out with humility because it's not meant to come out any other way, okay? The truth is, in our business this year, my primary objective is to help her get where she wants to be, because she has a dream to move out of her community in San Bernardino and move to South Riverside near her folks. And it's like horse country and all this. And I keep telling her, and I mean this genuinely, and you guys can hold me to this. If I can't help her, why would you ever hire me as a coach? How do you think about the people you work with? My objective this year is her. This year. Whatever that means, however that moves. So she decided, you know what? I can help accelerate the process if I just take more people. And we get more leads to talking about things we do, right? So she decided I want 150 a month. And immediately when she said that, I thought, oh boy, okay. So if you do the math on 2%, 0.25%, we have obviously some messages that get higher response rates. The only thing I'll tell you is the 7,000 people in our database 5 years later is not enough. And you're with 100 in your phone thinking, I'm never getting there, Dave's depressing me. Okay, but do you guys remember how we got here? Let's do the math. I've been doing this thing with you people for 6 years-ish. 6 years. If you take out weekends and holidays, that leaves 260 business days a year. Times 6 years is about 1,500 days. With me? We have 7,000 names in Lion Desk right now. How many new cards or leads have I collected per day for the last 6 years? And the answer is actually less than 5. You can build an unbelievable business on 5 cards a day. Now you know why I stopped and turned the music on to get your cards, because now I can take the month off or something like that. I don't know, right? This make sense? Okay, let's continue. So you need to start this process, because now we want to get to 20,000. And maybe it takes a few years to get there. You know, the burden on me. Anyway, we'll leave that topic for now. Measure. So how do you get the high response rates? 3 keys to messaging. 3 keys. Number 1, short. That's it, short. Why does our one-on-one message do better than the database one? Because here's the one-on-one message some of you have already seen. Are you ready? Hi, Sue. Any interest in one-on-one coaching? Question mark. Business coach David Halpern. That hits and checks off all 3 boxes of marketing for generating leads from a database. Number 1, short. In fact, most marketers will say 30 words or less is fine. I'm telling you, there's a sweeter spot if you can try to manage it less than that. Okay? Number 2, the best responses are yes or no questions. They get the highest response rate. I'm not saying do this every message. I'm saying just do it periodically when you want to literally be intentional about generating leads from your own databases, okay, or from Facebook or Instagram or whatever you have friends too, not just your database, right? Okay, number 2 is yes or no question. They're brilliant. Number 3, it has to be easily understood. I might offend somebody in the room when I say this, but I'm going to do this anyway because it's kind of important, so please forgive me, whoever you are. Somebody sent out a message recently that said, hi, Sue, this is, and the name, right? Hope all's well for you and yours. Just wanted to let you know this is my new business phone number because the database has a new number associated to it. But you can still reach me on my old phone number. And I saw the message and I thought to myself, what does that mean? What's your point, right? Okay. You want to hear something really goofy about messaging? When we send out a message that says, and many of you in the room have done this, I have some crazy stories about this one, by the way. When the message is, hi, Sue, hope all is well for you and yours. This is David Halpern or whatever. Just want to share with you my new business phone number. There are people in this room that have gotten multiple transactions in this room from that dumb message. Is that incredible? Okay. What I want to do is, I know we've got 1 or 2 or 3 people that wanted to share just a little bit about their experience of messaging. Okay, Matthew, if you don't mind, can I get you to come on up for a sec? We'll grab you a mic. This is not scripted nor well planned. Where is that microphone? Are we? Josh, thank you. Matthew, appreciate it, by the way. Matthew has like kind of insane momentum, and I even have some funny text messages from him to myself and Roz from about a month or 2 ago that are comical, that I even put on screen just to, it might be silly, but just share anything you care to about the process.
All right, well, thanks, David. It's an honor to be here. And, really the first thing for me was just mindset. Like, I always segmented my business contacts with my personal contacts. And in doing that, I decided to play big, and I took all my cell phone contacts and I put them on my database. I said, I'm playing big. So what did that do? So I ended up with about 1,800 contacts in my Lions Desk, database. I sent out that message. Hey, here's, hello, hope all is well with you and yours. Here's a new business phone number. What happens? 300 responses. So I would say from that one message, three loan applications. It just opened up my network again. All these people that I hadn't connected with for so long, it just brought about a lot of opportunity, a lot of appointments. I met with a former mentor of mine. I might have an opportunity to buy a house direct in San Antonio Heights at a discount. I mean, there's so many things that did for me. So really, it's just about playing big. And here's the cool thing. Now that I'm reaching out direct and dealing directly with my friends and family, I'm able to get leads to pre-qualify people, and I can source where that transaction goes, which real estate agent I want to work with. And that brings value to my partners. So it's just really about playing big and doing things a little bit differently. And I really think for the amount of money that we're spending for the product, for database on demand, it's absolutely worth it. When I can't wait to go back at the end of this year and see how much money it's generated for me, because this has been the weak link in my business. I just haven't been playing big in this particular area in my business. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, appreciate you for sharing it. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt. Congrats on the momentum, huh?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Always. Awesome. Also, just 1 or 2 more folks. Who do we got here? I'm looking at my notes here. Ed Dominguez, can I grab you to come up for a sec? Ed's got some funny stories and some great, maybe I won't put it on screen, but some great messages as well. Good to see you, Ed.
Good morning, everyone. I was really apprehensive. Like 6 weeks, probably 8 weeks, I've been known David, and I was real apprehensive. I've been in the business 20 years, mortgage originator, and never really, I neglected my database for 20 years. 6 weeks ago, I finally joined, might be 7 weeks now. And I put in 200 people just to see what would happen. Put 200 people in, sent my first text out about 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. 186 to 200 leads. Text went out. I received 6 leads, 3 refinances, 2 purchases, just under $2 million of business that I'm working on right now that I know I wouldn't have had unless I reached out to these past clients. My second database campaign went out yesterday, last night. I did it on purpose because I was hoping for some good news today. And the message was this to 206 people, because that's all I have in my database right now, hopefully to grow even more so now. 206 went out. I received 46 texts within about 10 minutes. I have 22 appointments next week for coffee appointments with people. And the text was this: rates have dropped. Do you have time next week to meet for a cup of coffee to discuss?
Do me, please take notes on this one. I'm going to share with you a couple of the highest response rate messages that we have right now. This one that Ed has is number 1. And it's only temporary because of the interest rate situation. It is the number 1 best script to get out there now. Got it? I'll give you a different version of it in a few minutes. But Ed, if you could share that again, please.
Sure. So I talked to, I think it was Roz, or I talked to maybe Alexandra yesterday, and I said, what would be effective today to put something out? This was last night at 4 o'clock. I did it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We did it for 6 p.m. And she says, just keep it short and sweet. Rates have dropped. Do you have time next week for a cup of coffee to discuss? And I have to admit right now, I'm a little freaked out because I have 22 coffee appointments I don't think I can meet at all. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a great thing to do, and flood the funnel. It's a great problem to have. So don't know what they're going to turn into, but I'd rather have them than not have them right now at this time. So I just want to say thank you. It's changed my mindset. Who was the previous fellow that just talked about mindset?
Yeah, Matthew.
It's totally changed my way of thinking about handling my business differently, because I was always go out and get more business. I was going out searching for the new leads, which I'll continue to do. But this has given me something else to think about, and I've changed the way I'm thinking about it. So thank you. I do appreciate
Beautiful.
that.
Good. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Everybody understand one-on-one appointments are still the best driver of business, period, end of story. It's the best relationship builder. It's the number 1 source of business. But what they're doing is they're experiencing leverage in marketing. Oh, by the way, we're not talking about $3,000 a month leverage in marketing. We're talking about your database. Got it? Okay, one more. I know Sal Torres wanted to share, I believe, a little bit. Sal? Oh,
I'm very nervous.
Okay.
We have to do something here. I'm going to go off base a little bit. We met about 2-3 weeks ago for our first coaching session. Excuse me, I'm very nervous. Just opened up my own office in Montebello with excellence. And one of the things that we touched on was I needed to get back to meeting more often with my mom. So I'm doing that now with my mom. Every Saturday, we're going for breakfast, we're going for lunch. And that's actually opened me up a little bit to when I meet with people, or I just go into a location and I'm able to just open up a little bit more with them, and I have a better relationship with my mom, and I'm able to bring that into my business now. I walked into 2 gas stations and I mentioned that I have a buyer from Mexico who wants to buy something. They didn't want to sell, but they said, bring me this amount of money and I'll sell it. So I have those 2 off-market listings right now, 5 million and 3.2 million gas stations. So just from doing that one thing, talking to my mom, meeting with my mom more often. So I want to thank him for that. So that was the best thing that I was able to do.
Sweet.
Reconnect with my mom.
Perfect.
So.
Appreciate it. If you didn't catch the punchline from that one, it's track appointments too. Fair enough? Okay, track appointments too. Sal's number one of the things he picked when he said, hey, we did the exercise of what do you do best, that you can outsource the rest, and his was, I just like hanging out with people and networking. That's my thing. It could be people from the city, it could be people from the police department, it could be people from community and nonprofits that he's heavily invested in, sort of in his sweat equity and all this kind of stuff, right? Okay, good, love it. Let's wrap up this little section on the number one most important daily marketing habit of a business owner with this. I'll give you a couple quick scripts, and if you haven't figured that out, it's measuring database activities. Fair enough? Okay, and here's what I want to give you, just a couple scripts. The number one script is anything right now in the short term on interest rates. Whenever interest rates dip down, use it. Use it. If you're a realtor, heck, your job is to add value to them. I don't care if you get no deals and just get a bunch of refis to hand off to your lender partners. Do them the courtesy, right? And do their law of reciprocity with them. But send out a message. I don't care if it's the one that Ed used is brilliant. I love that scripting on it. If you want to do another one that says, hi, Sue, interest rates have dropped. Any interest in seeing the impact it can have on the monthly payment? You can use that one for refis. You can use that one for buyers. Send it to the sellers too, for Pete's sakes. How do you know what every person in your database knows 200 people you don't know. If you have 200 in the database, you are marketing to 40,000 people. Our business is 100% contingent, our coaching business or whatever, is contingent upon our database. We're not buying leads and we're not door knocking and cold calling. You can build a robust business by focusing on it, okay? Let me give you a couple other quick scripts. A couple of our all-time favorites, courtesy of Senor Joe Manjara's somewhere in the back there. Where's Joe? Oh, he just stepped out. Okay, Joe, number one guy, Century 21 Realty Masters, JJ's businesses over there. Joe is super strong, and Joe shared this one with us, and we've run off and used this script with great response rates, better than the 2% and the 0.2 for 5%. Here you go. You ready? Hi, Sue, have you given up on your dream of buying a home? Or, hi, Sue, have you given up on your dream of selling a home? Very high response rates, very high. Now remember, when you get responses, you're going to get positive, very positive, lukewarm, negative, take me off your list, leave me alone, stop bothering me. Okay? You laugh, you smile, you know, but you can't handle it. You flood the funnel, but you can't embrace the chaos. I had somebody say to me just a couple weeks ago, Dave, your business has grown so much. Oh, I wish I had a business like that. I said, you sure? Why don't you monitor my inbound messages every day? Look at all of them. See a few of the interesting ones I've gotten. Even a face-to-face interesting comment I got from someone a few weeks ago. It happens. Right? Let's grow up here and let's build businesses, people. You know my favorite quote, many of you. If you're overly concerned with what other people think about you, you cannot build a great business. If you're overly concerned with what other people think about you, you cannot build a great business. Zach Bushy, Southland Properties, Glendora, sent out a message to buyers. Old dead buyers leads, new buyers leads, and the message was my phone number message. Hi, Sue, hope all's well. It's Zach Bushy. Just want to let you know my new phone number. One of the replies was, call me, Zach. Zach went on an appointment, signed a $1.4 million listing, is now in line for a $30-something thousand commission check. One message to buyers about a phone number, but you're not keeping in touch with people. James Wotring, James is probably here in the room somewhere, got a buyer, first text message then went out, and he's really brave and tests all kinds of crazy stuff with Alexandria. Patricia Rodriguez, Century 21 Award, first message said, Happy Valentine's Day. One of the replies was, who is this? And she put Patricia Rodriguez. 2 transactions she's doing with that person now. From Happy Valentine's Day without saying who it is. And you're afraid to market. We have a complaint that came in to Alexandria and I 3 days ago. We had the wrong address or price point or something on a listing, and it made me look bad, and somebody complained about it. But I guess the good news is I do have a potential buyer for my $1.6 million listing from that message. The problem you have is you're overly concerned with what other people think. Sophia Holguin, Sophia's in the room somewhere. Sophia, where are you? Somewhere? I don't know, lost you. Okay, Sophia literally took dead old open house leads, sent out a message to them. I don't know what the message was, Alexandria. But you have time to discuss your options. She has 3 transactions brewing right now from it. Interesting. 3 transactions from one message. Lynn Munger, Perry, Lynn Wave. 5 transactions now from database marketing over the course of 5-6 weeks. 5. Crazy? Okay? And we could go on and on. So let me tell you, I'm going to share with you what we do if you have an interest in it. And if you don't have an interest in doing it with us, write this down anyway. I'm giving you the answers to the final exam, at least in my own mind. Fair enough? This is what I believe you need to do. You need to delegate your database. Why? Because you don't do it. Now I have people leave my coaching sessions all the time. I'm going to do it. Roz had an interesting conversation with a couple of the leaders at Lion Desk who thanked her for sending them well over 100 people who signed up for Lion Desk over a period of a few months, just because of our influence and they know we use it. And almost none of them have used it since they got it. So we were sitting together over the holidays thinking, what can we do to add value to people? Let's just do the damn thing for them, because they're not going to do it. And by the way, I want to remind you, you're not supposed to do it anyway eventually. I don't. Other people are doing this process. Didn't you see that? The only thing I do is collect the cards. And even today, notice I didn't even physically collect the cards. They're going directly to, I believe, Amani. And Amani is going to be taking her time uploading those of you that we don't have already in the database. That's it. And then the process starts. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what we do. 4 basic things in this data. We call it database on demand if you have an interest in this. But either way, write it down because this is what you need to do. With us or without us, you need to do this. Number 1 is somebody's got to gather all your leads and get them in the database. We do it for you if you work with us, which means 3 things. If you have a bunch of leads on your phone, we have some, even Evelyn back there on our team. Raise your hand, Evelyn. Evelyn works. Alexandria's back there. Alexandria's in Wave. Alexandria, many of you know, she's the concierge. She's the one you get as your marketing assistant. She's the person. Evelyn works for her as a full-time techie, and we have 2 other part-timers on their team that do all of this stuff behind the scenes for you. So what it is you can go hire somebody if you want for $1,500 a month. I don't know why you would. So what this is number 1 is we capture your leads. So for example, if you have leads on your phone, they'll actually export the V card from your phone and put it in the database. Number 2, if you have leads on a different database, by the way, some of you are asking, what if I'm not on Lion Desk? We use Lion Desk only because we're really proficient at it, not because it's anything special. We like it, okay? We use it. We use it for my business. So if you have no CRM, we'll do Lion Desk with you intentionally, but we'll take, even if you have leads in another database and you want to move to this one, we can export them from the old one to the new one. Some of you have other databases, right? You're like, I want to stay here. I can't do this unless it stays here. I feel more comfortable. Talk to Alexandria. We're working with a number of people on different databases now, okay? So whatever works, we'll figure it out for you. But if you want, we can export the leads in. Number 3, some of you know my favorite example of this one was Donna Landoverdi. A couple of you know Donna. She's over in Whittier. And Donna comes out of her office and goes, Dave, I got a problem. And she shows me all of these books. It's her open house leads from 2010 on. And I said, okay, this is your lucky day. You just won the lottery. Stick them in a FedEx package. Make sure you get a tracking label. Mail it to our home. We'll give you an address, and they're going in. We'll do it. Got it? Here's the program. Going forward, Alexandria is your contact person. She reaches out automatically by text, by email, many times by phone call to check in with you. She likes to at least touch you every week, right? To check in with you because she wants to send out more messages on your behalf. Many people in this room, who's in the program right now? Just raise your hand real quick. Okay, we got quite a few people in the program. Okay, let me tell you what you're not doing well yet. You're not using her well enough. Your job is to macro manage now that you've levered and delegated. For me, macro managing is weekly. Call her, make her crazy. Call her weekly. That's what you're supposed to do. And the reason you want to do that is she has new scripts that she's getting reports on and statistics on, and I'm getting reports on as I get around and see people all the time. And we're going to have new suggestions for you every week. Let's try this. Let's try that. Many of you are afraid to do drip campaigns. Many of you have cold leads, and Alex likes to send out for her buyers. She likes to send out the same message 52 weeks in a year. Every Monday morning, 11 a.m. is a sweet spot for responses. The same damn message 52 weeks in a row. Many of you are afraid of it. It's going to make me look bad. Same message sounds too cheesy. It gets the highest response rate, but you don't do it. If you want to mix it up, that's fine, but reach out to her. Use it. Don't be afraid of messaging your people. When people say, take me off your list, I want you to view it through the lenses of, I'm in business now. Congratulations. Finally, I've opened the door. There's not secret agents in this room. You don't exist. You're the frickin' invisible agent. Open your doors for business, please. I was the CEO of a database marketing company, 800,000 emails a week, 550,000 pieces of direct mail weekly, inbound call center, outbounder, pay-per-click, SEO, and you're afraid to talk to people. You're afraid to message them when they actually care about you. Your silence tells them loud and clear, I don't care about you. And that's why they used somebody else instead of you. Because the objective in marketing is to be the last person to interact with them in that industry. Something real estate comes up or a friend mentions it, you happen to be the last person that connected with them by any tactic, text, email, Facebook Messenger, phone call, in person, whatever. Okay, so use that because we do drip campaigns we'll set up for you. If you want to just do different ones all the time and kind of wing it and interact and engage with us and send different ones out, this week and email that one, we'll do that with you. Use her. That's the game. The product is very simple. The product has a $500 setup fee. Those of you that got it without a setup fee in the past, those days are over, kiddos. It's a lot of work on our end. There's a $500 setup fee. The monthly fee is $99 a month. That's it. You have until 1 o'clock today if you're serious about this, and the setup fee is only $99. If you reach out to us after 1 p.m. today, it's $500. And I'm doing that for only one reason. It's a dumb sales technique, and it works. Remember that one as you're selling also. We could get into that topic. It's a juicy one for you guys when you're on appointments. But the truth is, many of you want to do it anyway and you need a push. Many of you actually are not going to do it anyway. Listen to me carefully. If you choose to do it with us, I love you dearly. If you choose not to do it with us, I love you dearly. Salespeople try to close every deal that moves, every appointment that's moved. Business owners try to present to everyone that moves and let them select or deselect us. Guys, we are going to do another 10-minute break right now. What time is it right now, folks? 11:35. 11:45 we resume. Run out and see whoever's out at the front desk if you're interested in this. I appreciate you all. The next 2 segments to wrap up are all new material. Next segment is organize your business like a business, higher powered stuff. Sound good? Okay, folks, enjoy. Thank you. Okay, folks, this is going to be an entertaining segment. By the way, real quick, I want to mention that Michael, when he talks about militarizing websites, built ours. And he's working on that for us and does a fine job. You all got your tickets scanned. First time if you've been to our event, you noticed that. That's because of his technology and work. Just an FYI. Terrific stuff, FYI. Okay? All righty. Now we go into an interesting segment. This one was not on your sheet or flyer. I think you're gonna get a lot of meat or substance out of this one. It's organizing your business like a business. And what I want to do with you all right now is a little bit of an exercise. So this one's going to involve you doing a bit of note-taking and using your own journals or notebooks or what you got here. Are you ready? We're going to do an evaluation of you as a business owner right now. Let's start. Let's begin, shall we? Okay. First thing is write down the words metrics and accountability. Metrics/accountability. Just write it in your notebook. Metrics and accountability are one of the pillars of building a great business. I know I overemphasize it, but I do for a reason. The reason I overemphasize it is because it costs you nothing, it takes you virtually no time, and it delivers a very high return, which is a great businessman and businesswoman's tool. Right next to it, I want you to write this down. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm a rock star, 1 being not so much, rate yourself as a businessman or a businesswoman 1 through 10 in metrics and accountability. Next topic. Write down time management. Time management. You know where we're going. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you as it relates to time management? Write down the first number that comes to mind. Don't, Brenda, you're giving me the look. Don't overthink it. The evil eye thing. Okay, next one. Database marketing. Database marketing. 1 through 10. Where's Greg? Greg was sharing with me his interesting experience. Okay, so Greg, if you don't mind, so Greg sent out a text message during the break. Facebook message, I'm sorry, yes, it was a Facebook post, one of those short ones. Give me the wording. What Ed said. Interest rates have dropped. Any interest in getting together for coffee? Just got a text message minutes later. What did the text message say? I want to talk to you. Okay? You know what's interesting is, as he's mentioning, I want to talk to you about a home loan. It said, yes, it did say a home loan. I saw the text, right? Do you understand that's exactly what Matthew was talking about as it relates to database? It's this mindset shift. Suddenly you're like, there's this whole universe of business possibility in front of me without investment that's available to me. Make sense? Okay, database marketing. Rate yourself 1 through 10. Number 4, specifically write this down, 2 other marketing channels. I have always argued that the sweet spot for high-end producers is 2 or 3 channels. One has to be database. Because, since many of you are in real estate, I'll use the real estate example. A statistic came out from NAR that said 65% of all transactions in 2018 were past client and circle of influence only. Only. That was out in NAR. Even Keller Williams had one of their big meetings, I forget what they call this, whichever sessions down in Austin, Texas, and they shared the 5 biggest sources of business. Number 1, referral. Number 2, past client. By the way, in case you're curious, 3 was open houses and 4 and 5 were both internet leads, just an FYI. 2 other marketing channels on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you have 2 other effectively producing marketing channels? I don't know any top-end producer that only has 1 channel. I know very few that have more than 3. 2 or 3 is the sweet spot, just an FYI. Okay, next one. Sales technique. Sales technique. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself on sales technique? Please write that down. Next one. Leverage and delegation. Yeah. Leverage and delegation. How are you? What is your excellence, hopefully, 1 through 10 on leverage and delegation? Next. Business skills and tools. And I'm not going to define it for you. What I want you to write down is your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10 that you have the business skills you need to get to the next level. 10 meaning, I'm good, I'm equipped. Let's go. 1 being, I need a lot of work. I got 2 last categories. Mindset. And yeah, I had somebody in a session this week say, shouldn't that one kind of come first? I'm like, yeah, maybe, right? Entrepreneurial mindset, scale of 1 to 10. How are you? How strong are you? To deal with the shocks to the system and the stimuli and the negativity that happens every single day. The game of entrepreneurship is not to have challenges. The game is to be equipped and armored up to overcome them. To view them as smaller than yourself. Last one, number 1 through 10, and this one's kind of a peculiar one, finances. Finances, we're going to tackle that one after the next break. It's going to be part of our last segment. We're going to talk a unique approach to cash management and something about business and personal finances you may never have considered before. On a scale of 1 to 10, finances. How strong do you feel in your handling of it? Now let's do the next exercise. Are you ready? We're going to go and fast forward. Pretend today is not April 12th. Today is December 12th, 2019. We're going to look back at this year through, armchair. We're going to armchair quarterback. It was a spectacular freaking year for you. It was amazing for you. Write down the 3 reasons why it was amazing. The 3 reasons why 2019 was an unmitigated success for you. Now, if you're going to put all business reasons, I'm good with that, if you want to focus on business. If you want to focus on kind of a combination of business and life reasons, I'm very good with that as well. Fair enough? This is your plan. There's a woman that a couple of you have heard me mention, Laura Vanderkam. Can I give you all a homework assignment? Please, I encourage this strongly. Go home today and watch a 12-minute TED Talk by someone named Laura Vanderkam. Vanderkam is spelled V-A-N-D-E-R-K-A-M. She's a mother of 4 and an in-demand public speaker who's super down to earth and normal. Maybe that's why I dig her so much. And she talks about, she's written 3 books on the subject of time management, but she's super fun. And she suggests what we're doing right now as an exercise, which is if you want to start with the time management process, one of the things we need to do is create our Christmas card. So it's December 12th, and we're about to send out one of those cheesy Christmas cards. You know the one, right? It's got the pictures of all the family members. My life's perfect. My kids are perfect. Everything's perfect. Look at me. All that. I'm not saying send it. I'm just saying that's the card. That's what we're doing right now. What are the 3 biggest reasons why 2019 was your best year yet? Write that down. Next one. It's December 12th. We're here in this room again. And this year was not a success for you. It was a failure. What was the one reason why this year was a failure for you? Excuse me. And what I don't want you to write down is I didn't do one of those 3 things I just mentioned a minute ago. I don't mean that. I want to take it deeper. What was the obstacle? What was the block? What prevented you from getting there? What prevented you from getting there? Oftentimes it's a character flaw. It's fear, right? Fear of investing. Fear of not looking cool. Whatever it is. I'm not saying that's the one. It could be I need somebody in a certain role. Maybe it's, for us, we admittedly, we're going to plateau at some point in the near future by just using our database. Because if we want to get Roz on a gazillion appointments a month or 150 or whatever it is, we need other lead sources now beyond Facebook, Instagram, and the database, believe it or not. We need to speed it up. So now we need other sources. Part of the reason we're doing a little work with Mishael on militarizing the website, as he would call it, right? Among other things. We're going to test things, right? So it could be the block is I didn't have the boldness to test a couple of 3 new marketing channels or whatever. Does that make sense? What's the one potential block for you? All right. Let's talk time management for about 5-10 minutes here. What you've just done is an evaluation of yourself as a leader. What you've just determined is what you need to work on. I would love for you to circle where you have the 2 or 3 items that you gave yourself the lowest score in. You can highlight them, you can boldface them, whatever. And the purpose of this now is to take intentional action to improve your skills and your tool belt in these areas. Whether it means modeling other people, hanging out with other people, buying, mentors and role models, lattes and lunches to pick their brain on ideas, testing new strategies, maybe it involves coaching, whatever it is. This is your roadmap for how to get where you need to go. Is that fair? Now, here's a practical tool. I'm going to run with Laura Vanderkam's material, if you don't mind, and go a little further. Let's do this quickly, so run with me if you don't mind. I'm going to go a little fast on this. Okay. Laura Vanderkam's premise is you can have it all. Laura said, you know what? I love my 4 kids. I love my career. I love my husband. I want them all. I don't want to give one of them up. How do I do it? And her conclusion is you can have it all. But she also says you can have anything you want, but not everything. She also says time management is a fallacy. Or in my, if you don't mind, vernacular, it's bullshit. You cannot manage time, and if you get like me, as some of you are already, you're in my club, we ain't 20 anymore, and it seems to be winning, time seems to be winning. In fact, it seems to be getting faster, okay? The problem is not time, Laura Vanderkam says. In fact, studies prove that time is not a metric. But you're trying to calendar and time block like time is a metric. Time is not a metric. Time is an emotion. It is an emotion that is based on largely memories. The greater the number of memories, the greater the perception of time. Can I give you a real-life weird example outside of business? Many years ago, my wife and I are traveling in Italy. We're in Sorrento, Italy, and we take a ferry boat to the island of Capri, which was a dream day for us. We get to Capri, to this Marina Grande, this beautiful, cute little port, and take a guy in a rowboat takes us to the famous Blue Grotto where the Roman Emperor Aurelian used to swim, and it's literally you have to lie down flat in the rowboat and go into under this really interesting cave, and it's a blue lit cave, and it's beautiful, and it was lovely. And we get back to the marina, walk up these old ancient cobblestone steps to take this little old ratchety bus to a place for these wonderful pastries and coffees. And then we walk to the funicular, the ski lift, that takes us up to the top of Mount Solari. I know I'm going off on a story, but there's a reason for this. And we get to the top of Mount Solari, and we see the Bay of Naples, Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii. Beautiful. We hike back down, takes an hour, hour and a half, whatever to hike back down, right? Get to a restaurant and have the best margarita pizza of our life, probably because we were starving, right? It was delicious. And then it was only 11 a.m. And that's how time is a function of memories. Your problem is when you run your business, you're violating the principles of time. Let me explain. Because you're not intentional about prioritization, you're not doing the 800-pound elephant every day, if you get my drift, whatever that means for you. Because you're not intentional, this is what Laura Vanderkam claims you do with your time. Let me use an example. It's Saturday, a couple weeks ago. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I didn't intentionally plan anything with my family. Now I'm with my wife. This is a true story from just a couple Saturdays ago. And I'm thinking, we've got to pick up our daughter from ballet at like 4. We didn't plan anything. And because our perception, because we didn't plan and we only have this block of time, and it's more like a sprinkle than a chunk, if you know what I mean, what Vanderkam says is we typically will run to something she calls effortless fun instead of what she calls effortful fun. Effortless fun means I can get to it in less than 30 seconds and it makes me feel good. Facebook, Instagram, TV, food, you name it. You with me? So what we start doing is running to those stimuli because we didn't plan with intentionality and we perceive that our time blocks are smaller. Or we got to get to this thing later. And she says that's effortless fun. It's fun for the moment. Effortful fun requires planning. Like when we had, where's Tracy back there? Tracy and her husband Ryan, dear friends of ours, we planned a couple of weeks ago a hike with them. So we invite them to come to our place. We meet them across the street from the beautiful resort Terranea. And if any of you are taking notes, take your honey there. Spectacular. Go to Terranea. Right across the street from the entrance is a hike on a trail on the hillside, not the ocean side of the street. That's like filled with wildflowers like we've never seen in all the years we've lived there, right? Spectacular. And then we went to a lunch at our favorite restaurant nearby, and we just stayed there and chatted all this. It was just wonderful. It took advanced planning. I mean, the advanced planning wasn't frickin' much. It was a couple of texts. But because it takes effort, we don't do it typically. Because of that, that day felt very rich. Or the next day when I took my daughter to Captain Marvel and had to buy this tickets, online for the theater with the nice seats, it took, 5 minutes to put in the damn credit card. But it takes effort. Effortful fun. Here's the difference. Are you ready? Effortless fun is easy to get to. Here's Vanderkam's conclusion. Numerous studies suggest that when you are social with people you love or care about or like, your valuation or perception of time expands dramatically. You feel like you have a lot of time. But not social media, she says. Being social, yes, but not social media. Or the media. Are we making any sense? So now she says, great, how do you apply this to the business world? How can she run a robust business and still take care of 4 kids and have intimacy with her husband? Okay, she talks about some tools, and I'm going to give them to you right now. Are you ready? Here's the best tools that she can. I love this stuff. Some of you know, I've been teaching the same old stuff for time management for years. Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants of time management, addiction theory on why we waste time on crap that makes us feel good and avoids negative triggers instead of actually building a business. Make more, work less, the 4-hour work week type concepts. But this recent information from Laura knocked my blocks off. I'm using it. for the last few months. You can check out my notebooks. I have them with me. Okay? She says you must plan with intentionality the week in advance. She and I are big-ass proponents of the weekly calendar as the entrepreneur's best tool. Not daily, not monthly, weekly. Because, here's the principle. If something does not, a weekly calendar is wonderful because you can create a 52-week rhythm around that. And if it doesn't appear on the weekly calendar, you ain't ever going to do it. So what she says is you've got to plan with intentionally in advance. 3 categories, she says, and when do you plan the week? And she says it's a no-brainer. Take the least productive time in your work week and convert it to your best. Even Jeremy already knows the answer. Friday. Studies show that everyone is useless on Friday afternoons. There is no productivity going on around the world. And what she suggests is take your Friday afternoon, whether it takes you 20 minutes it takes me about 20 minutes to do this now, okay? 40 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it takes, and take your Friday afternoon and convert it from the least productive time of your life to the most productive time because, as a number of people would suggest, this is a Brian Tracy quote, by the way, every minute spent in planning will save you 10 to 12 minutes of effort. Whatever the statistic is, I don't care. The principle is absolutely spot on. Does this make sense? So you're planning on a Friday afternoon this. Here's her template. I love it. I'm in. You write down 3 categories. Self, relationships, and business. Self, relationships, and business. Okay? And under each one of the 3, she says, jot down 3 action items for the upcoming week. She believes in her, vernacular that the week starts on Monday morning at 5 a.m. and goes to 5 a.m. And incidentally, she says, if the week starts Monday at 5 a.m. for argument's sake, what is the midway point of the week? Did you know that she says the reason you can have it all is there are 168 hours in a week? And if you're sleeping 40 or whatever, now you're down to 128. If you're working 50, you're down to 78. Please listen to me carefully. That's a lot. That's more than enough to do everything you always dreamed of, but not anything, but not everything, okay? So what do you do now? You plan it in advance. The midway point of the week is actually Thursday at 5. If yesterday at 5 o'clock I asked all of you, what's the midway point? If I ask you what's Thursday at 5, you'll say it's the end of the week. But it's not. It's the halfway point. You know what that means? Think about the psychology of this. The first half of the week, you're mostly engaged probably in your business. And with the exception of realtors and open houses, for example, the second half of the week, you got plenty of time for whatever it is that's important to you if and only if you're intentional. So what she says is make a list. 3 items for self, 3 for relationship, 3 for business. And she says, then immediately take your weekly calendar and front load it. Put as many of the 9 in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday as possible, because then when you don't get to that stuff, you got the rest of the weekend to go clean it up. Now, I'm going to tell you from my own experience, I'm probably going to be adjusting it and going down to 2 items per category, because even that's a lot. And what I now teach, when I work with higher end producers, I just started coaching 2 days ago with a married couple that does loans. They did 70 loans last year, and they've been in the business many years. Yesterday, I started coaching, I may have mentioned a Hollywood producer, I'm sorry. They're very high income, all this kind of stuff. You know what I told them both? I said, the game going from point B to C, or maybe it's C to D in some of their cases in business is, you've got to do way less. You've got to stop all of the thoughts in your head. You've got to quiet your mind down. My wife works on me on this one quite a lot lately, is this idea that breathe. Do less. You can 10x your way into point B, but you're not 10xing your way into C and D. The only way you're going to get there is by getting outside of yourself because it requires others. People, marketing, strategy, measuring, you name it. Does this make any sense? The greatest business professionals, ultimately, as you build and as you lever and delegate and peel things off your plate and do what you do best and outsource the rest, over time, you will be thinking about less. It's critical for building a large-scale business. The fewer the items, the better. 2 days ago, I had one priority in between my 8 coaching sessions, or whatever it was. It was literally, I think, 8. Was basically to have a conversation with a part-timer on our team who I believe is working so much that I'm not sure we're paying them well enough or right or whatever. So I wanted to have a lengthy conversation about what you're doing, what's going on, where can we go from here. Yesterday, it was Eddie over there calling me up saying, I need your P&L, I want to send out the taxes. So yesterday it was, I needed to review my P&L and get, that was it. That was the one item that was in my calendar for yesterday. Does this make sense? This is how you run a scaled business. Okay, let's continue. So now you're popping those items into the calendar, but she says, last item for you, make a list called the 100 Dreams list, she says. 100 things you want to do in your life. And she said for her it was easy. The first 33 were like, I want to go to Greece, I want to go to Italy, I want to go to Germany, I want to da, da, da. And then she said the second, 33 were a little harder. Well, I always wanted to do this national park and this, and she said the last 33 were really hard. Make a list of 100 dreams, and every week when you're doing the planning on Fridays, maybe you'll pick one of those items and pop it in this week. And now with intentionality, you're creating memories. I want you to think back to what you would call the best year of your life. And the only reason it's the best year of your life is you have the most memories. You were intentional about it. Let me give you an example. For the rest of today and maybe tomorrow, try this technique. Are you ready? Let's say it's tomorrow morning and it's Saturday. I don't know who's working and who's not here. Let's just pretend the next 24 hours is a work day. Let's say it's Monday morning. Ask yourself this question. What's going to make this day any different? And if you can answer that question first thing in the morning, you will intentionally create memories today. And your valuation of time will help you overcome that feeling, because time is an emotion. You're not overwhelmed, you're just labeling it as such. And your label creates the experience. I hope that's helpful. Okay, let me talk real quick about this. Coaching. Somebody came up to me a couple days ago and said, Dave, do you do one-on-one coaching? And I thought to myself, is it? I guess Buffini was right when he said you better tell people I always have enough time for your referrals or something, right? Okay, I guess so. But I want to just share with you, for us, just because we never seem to share it, if you have an interest in going deeper, I've already had a few people come up to me to say, Dave, I'd like to do something or take this a little deeper. If you do have an interest in that, I just want to share with you what are kind of we've given this some thought because we've been doing this for a while. What are really our objectives with people privately? Now, I also want to tell you that I work with people and their objectives are more important than my objectives, if you get my drift. But if you ask me, what do I really desire for people I work with? Here are the 4 things that I really like to do. So even if you're considering doing something with somebody else, again, I think I'm giving you the answers to the open book exam. Number 1, I tell people I'm targeting a 45% sales increase. That's my number. Okay, now if you only did 2 transactions last year, it's got to be more than that, of course, but you know what I mean. But that's the number I'm targeting, because that's my experience on average with people that stick for a year with a process that particularly includes measuring. It's that high. It's that important, okay? Because, and incidentally, the reason I get a lot of great results with people like that is not me. Does everybody understand this room? I don't do any of the work. I like to tell people all the time, if your business went crazy while I was working with you, congratulations, you're amazing. Oh, by the way, if your business stunk and went backwards while I was working with you, that's your freaking fault. It's your business. Own it, for Pete's sakes. I'm just here for inspiration and tools. Your job's to use them. Same in my business, right? But I do tell people that's my target, because if people stick with a process like this, the results are great. A lot of it is because when people reach out for coaching, it's really, there's been a change in their thinking where now they're like, I freaking had it, I'm going to take action now. So it's a lot of it is aligned with you, if that makes any sense. Okay? Number 1 is that kind of, I'm always targeting 45%. Number 2 is, no surprise, tracking metrics and systematizing your business. Tracking metrics and systematizing your business. Because the systems and the numbers tell you where to go next. Let's go. Number 3, leverage. For 2 reasons. Better business result, better quality of life. Both. I am not a fan of killing ourselves to make more. I am not. Maybe I was 20, 30 years ago, but I've changed. Many of you are in the same boat with me. Last one. I had somebody say something to me this morning that I actually took as a very lovely comment, which was, it's fun to go to your events. You're silly, you're crazy, and you just kind of rant or whatever, and you don't mind about being authentic. I think business has to be fun. I don't want to work with people that aren't. It's like, what for? You can build a business and it can be fun. And the other piece of that is, I really love to connect people within my network to each other. A lot. You probably don't know, but it's not just that we like to create a crowd or have sponsors paying for stuff. I love connecting people in our crowd because birds of a feather typically do, right? So you're going to find people, network with these people here, if that makes sense, right? You're going to find people. We like to kind of hang out with people, and your community becomes your community over time. If you go with me to all my coaching sessions next week, you're going to see something really cool. Almost all of them are like our people, if you know what I mean. I don't even know how to describe that. They're just our people. And it looks more like that over time, just like your business does. Okay, so that's our fourth objective. We also have something, so if you have any interest potentially in going deeper with us, that's one to reach out directly to Roz in the back in her sweater. Anytime, let her know today. We can do whatever, follow-up conversations with you, and she can walk you through a bunch of stuff we do. And no, we don't have a one-size-fits-all, because if some coach tells you, this is our product and that's our product, run for your freaking life. Run for the door. Because there's no one-size-fits-all. It has to suit you, not the coach. All right? That's how it works. Another thing we do is, that some folks are here, is in our board of directors. Board of directors is something a little more advanced. I like to tell people, do this one if you're serious. If you're serious, it's 10 or 12 people. We have a couple of groups now. They meet in my home once a month for a full day session, and it's higher level stuff, if you will, because it involves helping people build their own business plans and report on it and updates repeatedly on a monthly basis. It's a higher level strategic thing, and it's cool because we have people from different industries. I like to bring in guest speakers almost every other session. So we had like a married couple that's owned a software company for 35 years at one of our recent ones. We had a developer who's 33 years old who's worth $4.5 million net worth now in one of our meetings. I mean, I love bringing in people from so if you have an interest in the board of directors, that's a really nifty thing. And again, just reach out to Roz on that stuff. I just wanted to share that with you. Is that cool?